Hearty welcome to Alan's Tutoria, your English literature classes for the students of 11 and 12 based on ISC pattern. This is for the immediate preparation of your board and other exams. This class is taken by Joseph, Little Flower School, Salempur. Short story number 4, To Build a Fire. It is written by Jack London. His lifespan was from 1876 to 1916, very short lifespan. Dear students, let us understand about this great author, Jack London. At the right side of your clip slide, you will find the portrait of this handsome author. Jack London was a well-known literary figure born on January 12, 1876 in California, USA. He is one of the first fiction writers. He was brought up in poverty, educated in Oakland High School and University of California. The Call of the Wild, famous novel, and Build a Fire is the popular short story. He was influenced by the Communist Manifesto, socialist with adventurous spirit, and he was called to his eternal life in the year on 22nd November 1916. Let us understand what the story we are going to learn, all about the story. To Build a Fire is about a man who ventures out on a dangerous journey in Yukon Trail near the border of present-day Alaska with his pet dog Pepper to be reunited with his companions called the boys at Henderson Camp on an extremely cold day when the temperature is about 75 degrees below zero. He faces heavy odds heroically and seems to challenge nature. In his overconfidence, he forgets that he is, after all, a weak mortal human being. The characters of this beautiful story quality. There are two main characters, the man and the dog. Let us analyze the character of this man. He is the protagonist. He is a representative figure who always takes adventurous trekking. He is crazy, irrational. He is bold and courageous. He is determined and persistent. He is too individualistic and careless. If we analyze the character of the dog's name is Pepper. Let us have an overview of this dog. This dog plays no role in the story, but he is just a companion to this man. The dog depends on his instincts. He is instinctively wise. He has no affection for the man. Dear students, let us understand the summary, the key points which you need to develop for your examination. The solitary hiker, the protagonist, begins his journey from Yukon to Henderson Camp. As he moves, he meets a hidden danger. Suddenly, he falls into ice pit and wets up to his shins. Initially, he builds some fire, enjoys his lunch, and goes. Later on, his failure to build a fire, and he was successful in building a fire, but he built it under a tree. But the fire was immediately blotted out by the snow which was gathered on the treetop. So he feels a varied idea, that is to kill the dog and hid inside the carcass of for warmth. But he failed to use the knife as his hands were numb. He runs to escape death, runs for survival, but he loses his stamina. Thus, he gets ready to face his death peacefully. He becomes panicked at the thought of his death and runs to save life, falls because he lost his stamina. Thus, sat quietly and decided to meet death with dignity. In his sitting, he gets an imagination of his friends coming to see his body in the next day morning. When the dog dictated the death of man and run towards the Henderson camp. These are the key points which you need to develop. Dear students, now let us understand the theme and message of this beautiful short story which our author wants to communicate. The theme: heroic will to fight, overconfidence, man's struggle against the forces of nature. And the messages are: wants to think of the future consequences of present actions. We have to think before we leap. Obey the advice and warnings given by elders and others in our life. These are the messages that we need to follow in our life. Dear students, now let us analyze the title and the critical remarks. The title of this beautiful short story. It is very much apt and suggestive. This man, the protagonist, goes for a walk with various resources to build fire and succeeds initially, but later fails to build fire that causes the inevitable death. Fire remains at the center of the story. Here, fire means life, snow means death. Let us have some critical remarks also about this beautiful story. A meaningful story. It highlights the symbolic value of fire in our life, and snow means death. Value of instincts in life. Here, man fails, but dog realizes the value of instincts. The narrative style of this story. It is set in Yukon area, told in third person, straightforward explanation, narration of the story. The language is very simple. I use some figures of speech also in this beautiful story. Dear students, I would like to wind up this class by giving some possible questions, both short and long questions. Short questions. Number 1. What are the challenges and difficulties faced by the man on his way to the base camp? Question number 2. How does the ending of the story appeals to you? Question number 3. When does the man decide to accept death with dignity? Long questions. Question number 1. How does the man undertake an absurd journey out of his overconfidence and rashness? What happens to him in the end? Long question number 2. Bring out the main theme of the short story. How does it appeal to you? Dear students, hope you have understood this class. Please make your ample preparations for your examinations. All the best. Thank you very much.